Reply. Dragon smooch time. Yeah. And swap over. It is also at this point that I'm going to swap from standard water, or should I say it's been Gatorade actually, to something a bit harder. Finn River sour cider. Sour peach cider. But also apples. So, yeah. English. Swap that. Yeah, okay, cool. We're good. Skip the intro because it's way too loud. All right. If you missed last time when I was playing Angels with Scaly Wings, long story short, I'm a human. I went to Dragonland, took a portal to Dragonland, can't go back for a bit, and my partner, who is also in Dragonland, went crazy, shot someone, and anyway, we got some free time, and actually, status with everybody. So we're pretty neutral status with everybody. We have some people that we're good status with. I actually want to see a scene with Dean here, actually. So I'm going to order some lunch from her place of work. I remember that Adine had told me the cafe delivers as well, and not having anything else better to do, I figure I should try it out. Made my order with a quick phone call. It wasn't too long before the doorbell rang. Realistic doorbell. Well, that was quick. Just so happened that Adine herself stood in the doorway, dripping wet and with damp containers in her. It's raining! No! I don't want to have to make you deliver stuff in the rain, girl. It was good weather when I ordered it. Oh, it's you again. I thought we were over this, but I thought at least you don't reduce me to my species anymore. I do remember your name, though. It was Salsa, right? That's right. Here's your order. Sorry, it got a little wet, but it should still be okay. You're soaked. Why don't you come in? I was just about to ask you if I could stay for a little while. This is actually my last delivery for the day, and I live on the other side of town. I wouldn't let you fly back when it's this ugly outside. Feel right at home. I better eat this before it gets cold. Sat down at the table and started eating my food while Adine decided to take a seat opposite of myself. Dragon date? Do you like it? Yeah, it's actually quite good. Do you have something similar where you come from? We do. As a matter of fact, it's almost scary how close it is to what we have back home. They didn't describe what it was. It just said food. Really? Maybe we all just share a similar taste. Maybe there's more to it than that. What do you mean? Well, don't you trace your origins back to humans in some way? I know what kind of reputation we have in your culture. That is true. Let me ask you this. Where do you think the portal you found came from? Who built it? Humans did it, of course. Exactly. If you believe humans had something to do with an artifact created who knows how many years ago, it wouldn't be a stretch to think they could have also influenced you in other ways. Even something as simple as this dish? I like that idea. So what do you think? What do you do when you aren't working at the restaurant? Do you have a family? Most of the time I take care of my kids. Oh. How many children do you have? They aren't really my children, per se. I just take care of them. Oh. You are more of a foster parent, then? Not quite. These are orphan children I'm talking about. I just volunteered to spend some time with them, so I'm really more of a babysitter and teacher all in one. Can't really take them in and care for them 24/7 like a proper parent would. I'd love to, but I work far too much to be a single parent. With the amount of time I spend at the restaurant, I don't think the kids would be any better off, so I just help out wherever I can. Very nice of you. Thanks. These kids already didn't get a very good hand in life. I just thought that if I can make even a small difference for them, it'd be worth it. I see. What about hobbies? Do you have any? Can I ask a question for a change? Sure, go ahead. That is remarkably dry. Cider. I don't really know much about you. Actually, not sure if there's anyone here who does. What would you like to know? What did you do before you came here? That's classified. Nothing special, really. I mean, I have my degrees, but this is the first time I did something that was just actually related to them. The work I did previously was just to keep afloat. I know what you mean. I suppose it's my turn again. So tell me about your hobbies. The one I enjoy most is probably flying. Just flying? Well, not just flying. I do aerobatics, or stunt flying. I've been doing that on and off for a couple years now. You must be the most overqualified delivery flyer in history. Actually, that might not be so far from the truth. I'm actually hoping to be part of a competition sometime. Where can I watch? I suppose that depends on whether you'd still be here when it takes place. It's part of a festival we hold in this town every year. Since it's my turn again, well, this might be an unusual question. So, when they said it was a human that would be coming here, I kind of expected something a little different. Of course. That's not really a question. You know what I mean? Yeah, you look different from us, but you're not really anything like some of the things that have been said about your kind. I could say the same thing about you. Really? Yeah, we have plenty of myths about dragons. Like what? Dragon. There are too many to list. Some of them good, some of them not so much. Sounds like what we have on you, actually. Now that I see one of you right in front of me, it's almost silly what some of the myths say. Ooh, Abra! Abby! Welcome, Raiders! My name is Salsa. I'm a variety streamer. I'm currently playing, Angels with Scaly Wings. I'm on a dinner date with this cute little wyvern here. How's everyone doing? How is your stream at? No, I know how your stream was. Don't mind me. I'm just sitting here with dinner and a cute girl, and we're not calling it a date yet. But Angels with Scaly Wings. Long story short, you're a human transported to a world of dragons, and they have myths about humans the same way we have myths about dragons. And it gets a lot more deep than that, but that's the basic premise. So you're caught up. How is everybody? No matter what you might think about humans, I can assure you I am in no way special or supernatural. I disagree with that. Why? You say you aren't special, but just the fact that you're here with us right now is quite special to me and many others. Just try to see it the other way around. You know, you have a good point. Yeah, there would be a lot of thirsty people if a dragon just like touched down in the middle of Manhattan, New York. What were you thinking when you first heard about us? I was unsure. I wasn't sure what to think about it. That is, until I got here and was standing in front of one of you. And after that, I was just rendered speechless. Told you so. It was special for you, too. And it's not just the discovery of you dragons. We found a portal to an entirely different world. We still haven't figured that one out. Neither have we. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. By the way, interesting collection of books you have there. Draconic Desire, Ixamin Sphere. Are these yours? No, they were already here when I moved in. Y'all can probably guess what Draconic Desire was. but I'm gonna spoil it. Ixaman's Fair, it's just a freaking guide. It's just a freaking manual on how to use your magic MacGuffin. Have you read any of them? I did read Sheridan and the Scepter of Sovereignty. How'd you like it? It was entertaining, but nothing special. Nothing special is a good way to describe the entire series, actually. Oh, you've got Price and Prayer. You should totally read that one. You think so? Why's that? It's not just an interesting story. It's based on true events. The author's so right when he says there's a lot we can learn from what happened back then. I didn't read Price and Prayer, actually. I'll check it out when I have the time. Let me know when you do. I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say about it. Alright, since you asked about my family earlier, I'm gonna do the same thing. Is there a Mr. or Mrs. Salsa back home waiting for you? Can't say there is. How about a potential Mr. or Mrs. Salsa then? Are you looking to date anyone? Maybe. She's cute. She does food delivery. Come on, tell me. Okay, there's someone. Shame you can't be with one now. Are you talking about someone you met here? Maybe. Oh my. Would it happen to be someone I know? Yes. Well, who is it? Not sure how many questions that was, but I'm sure it's not your turn anymore. Are we even still playing this game? You started it. That's true. You seem to be enjoying it, though. You know, why don't we make this a little more interesting while we're at it? What do you suggest? Truth or dare? What's that? We continue asking questions, but if one of us doesn't want to answer the question, we have to do something the other person tells us to. Oh. I don't even know what kind of dare I would make you do. Could be something that would make me uncomfortable, or something you'd like to see me do. Anything? Well, keep in mind that revenge might be coming quicker than you think, so don't ask someone for anything you wouldn't do yourself. Got it. So, who's first? You asked the last few questions, so it's only fair if I start. Alright. I want to start low and slow. What is the most embarrassing thing that happened to you? Let me think. There was this one time when I was still a teenager. I was messing around and wanted to try out a new flying maneuver, a barrel roll. Needless to say, it ended badly. Guess you didn't succeed? No, the roll itself went fine, but I lost control after that and plunged right into the ground. Were you hurt? No, luckily I wasn't too high when I did it, and there was a great puddle of mud on the ground right where I landed. Of course, all my friends were there to see it. That wasn't enough to stop you from ever trying again? No. If anything, it made me want to try harder. Since it is my turn now, what's your greatest wish? Be the very best like no one ever was. Oh my god. We're actually gonna take that. That seems to be a very personal wish, Salsa. Catch all of the Poke what now? My turn. What would you do if you were invisible for a day? Invisible, huh? That's a hard one. I mean, no one would see my flying then, and I do want people to see that. With this question, more what you would do if you had the opportunity to do something without getting caught, like something mischievous or criminal. Oh, I know what I'd do. I'd check out the building they found along with the portal. What building? Didn't you hear about it? They found a whole building along with the portal. It's actually underground, and they have it heavily guarded while a team of archaeologists works on it. I think it might contain many secrets and answers about the portal and where it came from. Intrigue about stuff that was here. The, stuff, you know. The stuff. Intrigue about the ancient ruins that contained the portal that got us to Dragon World. I think I'd like to check that out as well. If you knew the world was about to end, what would you do? Enjoy life to the fullest until the last moment. Going out with a bang, huh? Your words, not mine. But yes. Yes. If I asked you to kiss me, would you do? I feel like I can be this forward, this far into the truth or dare with the dean. Is that your question? Or is that already a dare? Question. I just couldn't think of anything better. Well, then my answer would be no. I don't kiss just anyone, you know. However, if it was a dare, my answer might be different. So, from those you've met here so far, who's the one you fancy most? Oh, they don't even give me player control. I think I'll take a dare for this one. Oh, finally. What am I gonna have you do? Whatever you like. No, I honestly have no idea. Take your time. Let me think for a minute. Looks like it's getting late. Wait, what time is it? Seems like I've been here longer than we thought. I probably should be going now. Seems like the rain has stopped too. That's great. You know, if you want me to come over again, you don't have to order anything to do it. Here's my private number. I'll keep that in mind, thanks. Bye. Aww. I'm guessing she would have dared to smooch me. Guess I can do whatever. Let's actually read. Wasn't really in the mood for anything complex, so I settled down for the next entry. No! In which the scepter of sovereignty from the preceding novels first stolen, then reclaimed by the novel's titular hero, only to be stolen again in another cliffhanger-ending ploy, setting up the next series' entry. I wished I had spent the time doing something more productive. Figured I might be able to still go out and do something else, but when I looked at the time, I regretfully had to realize that the day was already over and it was too late. Come on! Read the book that you... Ow. Superstition. Morning sun declared the arrival of a new day and woke me from my vivid dreams. Memories of my home, enclosed within a towering perimeter wall, raced through my head. The peaceful landscape outside the apartment window stood in defiance of these old thoughts. Rolling hills and blue sky were familiar to me now, and the purity of the sight gave me hope. Doorbell? Salsa, please come with me. What's going on? You sound serious. The chief will explain everything once we arrive. Okay. Hey, Chief. Salsa's here. Thanks, Sebastian. You can deal with the situation here while I talk to Salsa, right? Of course. Uh-oh. Salsa, I've got some really bad news. Well, what is it? You know Anna, right? I've met her, yes? I'm sorry. I don't know how to say this. Those few words were enough. Dread sank in, and I already knew. Don't. I ignored his words and walked past him. Strawberry jam, look away. When I turned the corner, there was no mistaking her. Anna was haphazardly covered by a sheet, leaving her tail and blood-stained hand exposed. In the end, she didn't even deserve full discretion. Are you okay? I don't know. Is there anything that I can do? Let's just get this over with. For those of you that can't handle strawberry jam, that can't handle blood and bodies, look away. Bryce gave me a concerned look, but then nodded.
And here's more bad news. The blood we found on the first victim in town matches the DNA evidence we found on the second victim at the power facility. Furthermore, the murder weapon and method appear to be the same across all 3 victims, and it's going to be a big problem for you.
Why's that?
Because with these 3 murders, Reza now qualifies as a serial killer. We won't be able to keep this whole thing quiet for much longer. Higher authorities, including the ministry in charge of your whole visit, will know about this soon. I have no idea what will happen once they do.
I'm not sure what to say to that.
I don't want to worry you, but we can be sure that an action will be taken soon. I've been considering this possibility for a while, and I think it might be best if you went back to your own world for now. This way we can take action before the ministry does, and before this all comes public. If we wait, we don't know what they'll do or how the public will react. With everything going on, it's too dangerous for you to stay here.
No.
No?
This would be the worst possible time for me to leave. We've given up our PDAs and have hardly anything to show for it. We are owed several more generators. Let's not forget Ray's is still missing. If I leave now, the only thing I return home with is my life. I'll have lost everything else. We need those generators, Bryce. I have no idea if your authorities will continue to uphold our deal, or what they'll do to Reza, but I'm not leaving until this is over.
If that's your decision, then so be it. Anyway, let's get back on track. I called you here for a reason, Salsa. In addition to the murder, several things are stolen. Among them your PDAs, some batteries, and some components to build generators. Does that ring any bells?
Not really. Reza might have some knowledge of electronics, but I doubt he has enough to assemble one of your generators, even if he had the parts.
Strange. Even so, it's fair to assume Reza's involvement at this point. No one else has a greater motive to steal the PDAs, especially after what happened between him and Maverick.
Unless someone wanted to frame Reza in order to sabotage this whole operation.
Do you really believe that?
Hey, I'm just saying that it's possible.
I'll shelf that idea under possible but unlikely.
Hey, Chief, are we done here?
Pretty much. Why do you ask?
We just got a message from the higher-ups. You and Salsa are to report to the Ministry of Culture and Arts immediately.
Immediately as in right now?
Apparently. What's going on?
To be frank, I don't know. This is an extraordinary situation, and now that it's getting out of hand, they must want to address it.
So the worst possibility.
If you expect the worst, at least you won't be disappointed. Sebastian, you can finish up here and go to the ministry when you're done. We'll probably have to make some arrangements after this meeting.
Sure thing, Chief.
Let's go then, shall we?
It's not like we have a choice. God, what voice did I give Emra? What voice did I gave Emra? Oh. Old Brooklyn woman, got it. That was quicker than I expected. I wouldn't have minded waiting out here a little longer.
Greetings, Minister.
Greetings?
Shall we go inside for our official business?
No, I've got everything I need right here. It gets so stuffy inside on hot days. My assistant doesn't seem to mind, but I prefer the fresh air. I'd rather just stay right here, unless you have any objections.
I don't.
I see. Well, I know I haven't exactly been up to date in regards to Reza's sudden disappearance, but to get the message today that he is a confirmed serial killer was quite shocking. Frankly, I'm curious as to why the facts of this case have been withheld from me for so long.
Simply because they weren't within your jurisdiction. The murders were strictly a police matter. Only with the amount of new evidence, namely the DNA and blood we found, and these 3 murders now being linked together, and to him, did your ministry have to become involved.
I see. So Reza's involvement is now undeniable?
I'm afraid so, Minister.
Facts are nothing to be afraid of. Though in light of all this, I'm starting to worry about my personal safety.
With our thick hides, I don't think our species has much to fear, if we consider the murder weapon.
Speak for yourself. You don't think someone of my standing needs protection?
Oh, for sure. If you are worried about your personal safety, we could look into an escort for you.
Good. Considering all the murders took place during the night, I'll certainly need it. Long days are endemic in my line of work. But that's enough about myself. We now face the question of what should be done about Reza and Salsa.
Minister, we continue our hunt for Reza every day. As a matter of fact, Salsa has been helping us do so for a while now.
Is that so? One human a murderer, another a detective? Interesting. And how do we know Salsa isn't following a similar plan to Reza's, whatever that may be?
Similar concerns were leveled by Reza's escort Maverick. It was his overreaction that caused Reza to run away in the first place.
Let the human talk for once, Chief. Please, Salsa, enlighten me. You and Reza came here on the same mission and the situation has escalated beyond our expectations. What you tell me now will determine the actions I'll take on this matter. Maybe you should start by telling me your side of the events from the beginning. Reza was fine during his early days here. Things only went wrong after you arrived.
I opened my mouth, but Bryce spoke first, determined to defend me. One dragon asking interrogation, the other on my side. I don't need a good cop right now. I'm going to explain myself. Arguably, the problems that caused all this were apparent even then.
How so?
Maverick suspected Reza of planning something, but I didn't think he had a case.
Well, did he?
No, what he had was a suspicion. The night he followed Reza, he found both him and Salsa at the portal. The humans intended to send one of their promised generators through, but there was a confrontation that ended with both Maverick and Salsa wounded, and Reza running away. Reza's been missing ever since.
I've read the reports already, Chief. The question is, did Maverick cause this, or did he just fail to prevent it?
I have no way of knowing that, Minister.
You just mentioned your apparent knowledge of problems back then.
Problems may not have been the right word. Let's just say Maverick's attitude was not helpful during that encounter.
Why did you choose Maverick as his escort in the first place?
Protection for the human ambassador was my greatest concern when I made that decision, and Maverick was the most capable individual in that regard.
Well, that worked out nicely, didn't it? You also seem to think that Maverick shouldn't have remained Reza's escort. Is that true?
Yes. Had I paid more attention to the warning signs, this situation may have been avoided.
So you accept responsibility for the incident?
Yes, Minister.
I see. Now, let us get back to the topic of salsa. I like it on chips, but it's not okay in a tortilla. I just don't like burrito. Reza was your partner in humanity's mission to come to this world. His list of criminal activities not only includes murder, but also theft of generators, electronic components, and the PDAs your people gave to us. I understand why Bryce would reason that you could help the investigation. We have no other choice but to be suspicious of Reza's partner. What was your motivation when you agreed to help us?
It's beneficial to my actual mission.
And what would that be?
The deal between our races. I firmly stand by our original agreement. If Reza is involved with these crimes, I want no part of it. It has nothing to do with me or the reasons I came here in the first place. If his actions are in danger of this agreement in any way, I want to put a stop to him.
I see. Well, after reading up on the whole situation and hearing both of your accounts, I believe that Salsa is trustworthy. Nevertheless, I think Salsa presents a great risk.
The depression game. Oh no! I've only heard smooch dragons about this game, not depression. I mean, to be fair, it's a lot of dark subjects, like murder and. It's been a while. How are you doing? I'm doing all right. I got a busy week next week, but
Nevertheless, I think Salsa presents a great risk.
Why is that?
After this meeting, I will hold a press conference to inform the public of the current situation. The people must know of the danger posed by Reza. No matter what Bryce and I think about your involvement, the public could feel differently. You, me, and Bryce will have to face the backlash resulting from this information becoming public. And what's more, Salsa, you might be in real danger yourself. Reza himself may come to silence you once he learns that you're helping us. Or consider the public uproar from those who would question your involvement. All things considered, it would be for the best if you return to your own world until the situation has been resolved. Some stories are nice, some others, most really aren't. I know that this game has like a good and a bad ending for pretty much every relationship character. So that's a total of what? 10 endings? Yeah. I wanna play through a couple at least. Be for the best if you return to your own world until the situation's been resolved.
I came to the very same conclusion, mister.
Then with your support, this is what shall be done.
Please, don't.
You don't agree?
If you send me back now, this diplomatic relationship is over. I'd have to admit defeat to humanity. There's no way I can return without your generators, our PDAs, or Reza.
Maybe you could explain to them what a great choice of an ambassador Reza was.
But I was his partner, so in a way, he's my responsibility. I can't just go back like this.
I'm afraid that's not enough. It certainly doesn't outweigh our reasons for sending you home.
Just let me explain, I'll tell you everything. Years ago, our world was prosperous. Our technology was far more advanced than yours, even. Computers not only graced every household, but every single person. It was the age of information. Even children had the power to access the most advanced knowledge at their fingertips. With our PDAs, smartphones, our interconnectedness with other people and our environment was greater than ever. From locomotion to repetitious work and household chores, many processes were automated to such a degree that except for our jobs and hobbies, there was nothing that needed to be done by a person anymore. Even the concept of someone wielding a weapon was outdated, as wars were no longer fought by people but machines. Looking back, it was probably the single most prosperous time in human history. Exploitation of the environment and other people was at an all-time low, as was crime. Conversely, our technological advancements had drastically increased quality of life. Humans were no longer required for strenuous and repetitive tasks. God, I wish that were society. Education reached an all-time high, and many new jobs were created. General happiness had reached levels never before seen. Yet one day, everything changed. The sun! A solar flare that was headed for Earth was detected by an automated monitoring system. It was determined to be so powerful that it dwarfed all of the others ever recorded in history. We had less than a week to prepare. Chaos hit much earlier than that, as people scrambled to shield themselves and their possessions from the incoming ion storm. On a worldwide level, power lines were switched off, satellites reoriented in space, and planes grounded to mitigate the effects that would hit us. Despite humanity's contingency plan for such an event, and all our efforts, we were still not prepared for the sheer magnitude of the solar flare that arrived. It was only then, when our race had become so dependent on technology, that we were immeasurably vulnerable against this kind of disaster. That day, a force with the power of 10 billion Hiroshima bombs was unleashed into our atmosphere. The eyewitness reports from this day were varied, as they were terrifying.
Aurora Borealis! At this time of year, this time of day, in this part of the country...
Yes.
May I see it?
Look up. A huge, beautiful aurora could be seen on the horizon before fireballs hurled across the sky. In some places, these lights became so bright that even those asleep at night awoke, as though day had already arrived. A coronal mass ejection by itself did not have the power to kill anyone directly, but the side effects were disastrous. After the lights in the sky arrive, sparks showered from electrical outlets everywhere,
igniting rampant fires in every town and city. Facilities that stored weapons, fireworks, or other explosive became centers of widespread destruction and loss of life. During the next stage, the solar flare started to affect body modifications and cause commonplace pacemakers and nanomachines to fail. 15% of the world's population died as a result of this alone. Once the full power of the waves hit us, however, societies we knew it collapsed in one fell swoop. Power grids on Earth shut down in an instant, as did all the machines that automated routine tasks. Long-distance communication and transport became a thing of the past. Without electrical power, the quality of healthcare plummeted, and water and sewage systems were crippled. Diseases we thought defeated centuries ago made their comeback in a most unsightly fashion. Many thought the end of the world had arrived, and in a way it had. Some people blamed whoever their belief system would allow, angry at the gods that had forsaken them. Others pointed their fingers at our lifestyle and society. Not that anyone was listening. Practically, we were back in the Middle Ages. Governments collapsed and were overthrown, and the ensuing power vacuums filled with groups of people that were sometimes organized and sometimes not. The few functioning electronic devices became rare, sought-after artifacts over which battles and even wars were fought. Of course, there were also wars over resource and territory. The weaponry used was improvised or reclaimed from the days when humans had been present on the battlefield. It had been ages, but people returned to the old bloody ways of war. Humanity is in shambles now. Those that I'd call family and friends now live with me in a giant, mostly self-sufficient city-state of survivors. A huge wall around the perimeter, guarded by militia, prevents any outside interference. It's the only way we can retain a modicum of order. Gangs of raiders and looters run rampant on the outside. They wouldn't hesitate to kill first and ask questions later if they'd known about my PDA. Our contained community had flourished for years now. We have homes to live in, crops to grow, and livestock to raise. And still have our own automated hospital that runs on salvaged generators. Lately, though, supplies have started to run low, and dangerously so. The power we have is running out, illnesses are spreading throughout the city, and treatment isn't as available as it used to be. Our population is dropping by the day. We took a great risk to increase the radius of our scouting missions, desperate to find something outside the wall that could help us. And we found the portal. You already know the rest of the story. We found the portal, and you.
I'm just gonna say, all of that is theoretically plausible. We are not prepared if a coronal mass ejection, and a big one, hits Earth head on. Straight up. Like, if, at our current level of dependency on technology, and I say this online, on the internet, streaming, with computers, to you, who also has a computer, we would not be ready. Most people would be out of a job. Most people would be out on the street if we didn't make, like, really big changes. Like, really quickly. So yes, the premise that coronal mass ejection puts a technology-dependent world into a chaotic dark age. That's all hypothetically true. I'm just gonna say. I got way deep into modding Divinity OS 2. Oh. And now you know why this whole thing is so important to me. All our hopes lie in acquiring the generators you promised us. Or should I say, yeah. The act of sending Reza and me here has, without a doubt, already cost the lives of some people back home. Beyond the city walls is a dead zone. We haven't heard from any settlements for months now. The state of the rest of the world is unknown. When Reza and I were sent here, my peers made it clear that this was our last chance. If anything happens to us, no more people will be sent. If we can't manage to bring back something that will help, we'll have sealed the fate of the tens of thousands that live in our city.
I'm sorry, Salsa. I didn't know.
If what you're telling me is true, it unfortunately does not work in your favor. As sad as your situation may be, it gives Reza a motive. Desperate times call for desperate measures, after all. In that vein, it also gives you a motive. Considering the gravity of the human plight, it gives you all the more reason to collaborate with him.
I'm not. What Reza's doing is wrong. You can't send me away under these circumstances, because I'm your best bet at finding him.
Even so, you would still be in grave danger after we announce Reza's involvement in the murders. I cannot and will not take responsibility for the consequences when I know of the risks.
What about our deal then?
In the wake of this new information, and as a sign of goodwill, we will send the generators you are owed through the portal once this is over, under 2 conditions. Humanity must condemn Reza's actions, and we must reclaim the stolen PDAs.
I've changed my mind. You should let Salsa stay here.
I cannot take your word under consideration in this matter, Chief. Taking into account Maverick's actions and your responsibility for them, you will have to be dealt with separately. With my authority as the minister in charge of the human visit, my decision is to have Salsa sent back to the human world through the portal.
Please.
Immediately. Chief, please arrange for an escort to take Salsa to the portal now.
I could do it myself, Minister.
Well, we have our own matters to discuss, Chief, and I would rather get that over with as quickly as possible.
In that case, one of my officers should be here in a moment. I arranged for him to meet us here.
If all dragons are quadrupeds, why are there railings for the stairs? Not all dragons are quadrupeds. There are some that are bipedal, and we're probably about to see Sebastian, who is a good example. When they say dragon, they mean all kinds of dragons. These 2 are flightless quadrupeds, but they have flighted quadrupeds, flighted bipeds, all sorts of peeps.
How handy. Then let's wait for this officer of yours.
And there's Sebastian. Didn't take long for Sebastian to arrive. After the situation was explained, he was visibly shocked, but didn't protest when he was given the task of sending me back through the portal. Let's go, Salsa. Don't I even get to say goodbye?
Let us not waste any more time. You will still be free to send letters after you have arrived on the other side.
Just go, Salsa.
Come on, then. We were silent as Sebastian and I slowly made our way to the portal. With each step I took, I drew closer and closer to the hopelessness waiting for me in the ruins of the human world. All in all, I certainly had a unique experience alongside these dragons, and although this place was filled with just as much drama and murder as back home, I would remember this world and all the people I met. I would fondly think back to the days I spent in their comfortable standard of living, a shadow of how humanity used to be. Even without the generators, at the very least I'd be returning home with a few life lessons.
What's going on here?
Lost in thought, I hadn't even noticed Adine approach. It's none of your concern. Please leave. Can I even get a few minutes before I go? I suppose nobody's stopping us, but make it quick.
Hey, Salsa, what's going on here?
Something serious happened. Looks like I have to leave.
Right now? Why?
It was the minister's decision, not mine. You'll hear all about it soon enough.
Does this have anything to do with what I've been hearing? Is Reza really a murderer?
I'm afraid so.
Oh. Well, what does that make you?
I don't have anything to do with that. I was helping the police find him.
Then why are you leaving?
They don't want me to stay here with all this going on. It's for my own safety.
Well, it was nice to get to know you at least.
Likewise. I guess I should get going.
Goodbye, Salsa.
Goodbye, Adine. I remember her. That was the witness from Reza's first murder. Did you know her? A little.
I see. And there's our ticket home, the portal. A few minutes later, we arrived at the portal, standing proud as ever in defiance of the elements. How many years did the structure survive before it was found? Hope I can remember how this thing works. Are you joking? Yeah, sorry, I got it. Alright, suppose it's time for us to say goodbye. Let's keep it professional. I like to mix personal matters with work. He looked away and I shrugged. Go ahead and turn it on then. Would you stand between the pillars, please? Of course. I took my place and stared toward the horizon while I thought about what would happen now in this world and others. Even if I made a break for it and become a fugitive, no better than Reza. It would be near impossible to investigate the case by myself while on the run in a world I knew so little about. At the very least, I took comfort in the fact that I did everything I could to help, even if it turned out like this. Nevertheless, I dreaded going back empty-handed and returning to my old life in our ruined city. Any second now, the teleportation process would start, disintegrating my body before I would reappear on the other side, back in my dying world. I wonder if there was any risk of getting lost somewhere between worlds. We didn't really know how the portals worked after all. Maybe I would be flung somewhere else in space-time, or it might affect my body in some way. I hadn't noticed any unusual changes in my body since I arrived in the Dragon's world, but I had no way of knowing if there were potential long-term side effects. I still remember the images I saw when I teleported the first time, the vivid sights and patterns, people and situations I have recognized since then. It only took a moment to arrive to the other side of the portal, yet it felt like I had dreamed 1,000 dreams. And during the nights I spent here, those dreams often reappeared. Any time now, I would undergo the same experience again. I was almost relieved that my adventure was over. Things had turned out far differently than expected. I evaded danger, got swept into a murder investigation, and met incredible, intelligent beings from several different species. It had certainly been a time to remember. With that thought, I closed my eyes and braced myself for the moment that would come any second now. But that moment never came. The next thing that did happen was that I heard Sebastian's voice. It's not working. Are you joking again? No, really. It's not working. Wait, what is this? Uh-oh. It's broken. Can you fix it? I don't think so. This doesn't look like a simple act of vandalism. It looks like parts were torn out. I guess that means I'm not leaving, huh? Not yet, at least. Well, what do we do now? Let's head back. The chief has to know about this right away. We were back at the ministry before long. Emera and Bryce were still outside as Remy approached the two of them. Here are the case files, Emera. Why, thank you. Salsa and an officer? What is this about, Emera? That is what I would like to know. Please, officer, enlighten me. Why has my order not been carried out? The portal is broken.
It's broken?
Yeah. Looks like someone tampered with it and stole parts. I couldn't even get the interface to turn on.
We'll check it out once I'm done here.
I suppose Salsa will stay with us for a little longer after all. Seeing how this is an emergency situation, I will make this short. Chief, as a result of your carelessness regarding Maverick and Reza, you are temporarily removed from any duties related to the humans. Given these dangerous times, you will instead serve as my personal escort until further notice. Considering the circumstances, you will be allowed to coordinate the investigation of the portal, but after that, you are to immediately return to me to start your new task. Understood?
Understood.
Then all of you are dismissed.
She turned to leave, Remy trailing after her.
Alright, let's head to the portal. That includes you, Salsa.
Of course. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a sheet of paper on the ground. Hey, what's this?
Emera probably dropped one of the case files.
Either her or her assistant.
You better bring that to her. Sebastian and I should hurry to the portal. Meet us there afterwards, okay?
Sure. I picked up the sheet and started reading. It was about what had happened when I met Reza at the portal. Of course, it didn't say anything I didn't already know. As I walked up the stairs, I wondered if it was okay for an unauthorized person to enter the building. All I knew about the place was that Emma worked there. I did have an important document that was going to be missed, so I walked inside, only to be greeted by an empty lobby. Luckily, there were some signs directing me to Emma's office. I didn't take long to find it, and I heard voices when I approached the door. By the way, what happened to the scroll you brought me this morning? The last time I saw it, it did not have that tear. I dropped it. Tell me something new for once. Okay, someone else dropped it. Am I supposed to believe that? Remy, are you aware of how much this costs? Repairing and replacing artifacts is not cheap. I am afraid we will have to deduct this from your wage again. I see. You are not doing this on purpose, are you? Of course not. You have been working for me for a long time now. I expected you to learn at some point, but you're very resistant to do so.
Holy shit, office power dynamic. Toxic workplace!
Not wanting to listen to this any longer, I decided to knock. There were a few seconds of silence. Please, come in. I only opened the door long enough to hand Remy the sheet of paper. I think he dropped this outside. After I closed the door and started to walk away, I heard the voices resume. This is from one of the case files you requested. You must have dropped it. Then why was it left outside? As my assistant, you should have paid more attention. If this got into the wrong hands, someone could get in trouble. I made my way back to the portal and arrived shortly after Bryce and Sebastian.
Well, I can confirm that it's not turning on.
I told you that already.
Just wanted to be sure.
You really think it would still work with a chunk ripped out of it?
Hey, I'm not an engineer. We don't know how the portal works. It was worth another try. There you are, Salsa. What do you make of this?
I'm afraid I don't know any more than you do. I'm not an engineer either. In that case, I think we should start thinking about the who and when.
There are patrols assigned to the portal and surrounding area day and night. If someone tampered with the portal, they must have seen something. Today's day patrol didn't notice anything unusual, though.
Guess you just missed the part about the portal being vandalized.
It'd be easy to overlook. It's a small part of the machine. It's not like she was expected to check every square inch of it with each lap around the area.
What about the night patrol, then?
When I went over the reports this morning, I noticed the night patrol hadn't handed theirs in yet.
And who was patrolling last night?
Let me think for a minute. The schedule always goes in a certain order, so last night would have been... Damn.
What is it?
The night patrol for last night would have been Maverick. I got wrapped up in all the recent chaos and forgot to find a replacement for him when he went on sick leave. Maybe Emerald was right to take me off the case.
So there was no night guard here at all?
That's right. Whoever it was had an easy time doing whatever they wanted.
Could it have been Maverick? If he knew no one was going to be here, he could have used that knowledge to his advantage.
He couldn't have known that I'd forget to find a replacement, though. I don't usually step up like this.
What about Reza? Why would he have done it? He'd be cutting off his only way out.
No, he'd be doing something smart. If he has the part needed to get the portal working again, he's in control of who gets to use it. He's cutting off our ability to communicate with humankind.
We wouldn't been able to inform them of Reza's actions.
Maybe we shouldn't have kept the investigation secret for this long.
If your theory is true, that would be proof that Reza's actions are his own, not humanity's.
Hey, I already trust you on that.
Or it's a stunt to grant humanity plausible deniability.
No way. Things are too dire for the humans to take such an extraordinary risk, especially for that.
I'm sure that wouldn't be the only reason they'd benefit, though. There must be something we're not aware of.
Maybe we're looking at this from the wrong angle. If no one was here to guard the portal, anyone could have broken it. It doesn't necessarily have to have anything to do with Reza or Maverick.
But they still have the greatest motives.
Sure, but they definitely aren't the only ones to have one. There could be private groups who are interested in the technology, or its significance as a human artifact.
So that puts us exactly nowhere.
At least as far as speculation is concerned. It's about time for forensics to show up anyway. Let's hope they can pull some clues from all this. Sebastian, can you take him from here? You've just been dedicated to the case as I have. Just as dedicated to the case as I have. Since I'll have to be at the Minister's side for a while, I'd like you to take charge of the investigation for now.
Thanks, Chief. I won't let you down.
What's up with that anyway? Being appointed as Ember's bodyguard as punishment just seems strange to me.
Are you kidding? I could have lost my job. This is a way better outcome. Honestly, she probably did it for her own sake more than anything else, but I'm not complaining. If that's all, I'm gonna head back to the Ministry. I shouldn't keep her waiting.
Keep accidentally hitting right-click, which is the menu button. So what does that make you now, Temporary Chief?
More like case leader.
By the way,
You don't need to stick around while Forensics does their job. Thanks for your help. I assume you can find your way back to your apartment?
yeah, of course.
Alright. I'll see you later then.
See ya. I considered spending my free time roaming the town, but decided that it would be best to keep myself out of the spotlight. After cooking myself a rudimentary meal, I considered picking up another book when the doorbell rang. Actually, I'm gonna save here. Ding dong.
Hey, Salsa.
Hey, Sebastian. Do you need my help again?
We're just a small town police department, and with Bryce removed from the case, our resources are thinner than ever.
I understand. What do you have for me?
First up is the primary witness in the latest murder, Damien, the victim's assistant. He was the one who found her body. A few things have changed since this morning, as you gotten some additional information from forensics that warrants further questioning. I know you knew the victim personally, so you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I'll leave the choice to you. You can find her assistant at the production facility. You seemed interested in that underground building found near the portal. I realized you might actually be able to help us with that. Since it's suspected to be of human origin, your opinion would be greatly appreciated.
I guess I should add archaeologist to my resume.
Maybe human matters consultant would be more appropriate.
Do you really think it's okay for me to tamper with your priceless discoveries?
Oh, you wouldn't actually go there in person. I just want you to take a look at the collected information in the archives and give us your opinion. Besides, no one is allowed to visit at the moment. The building is old and unstable, and there's danger of it collapsing or flooding. Obviously, we don't want either of those to happen.
Flooding?
Yeah, the whole building is underground, and we've determined that there's a rather large pocket of water surrounding it. Any kind of disturbance could endanger everything and everyone inside.
I see.
You also located another witness for the latest murder. A store clerk reported seeing and hearing something, so it's probably worth it to ask him a few questions.
Got it.
Here are all the details. Visit me at the department once you're done.
Sure thing. It was interesting that they still relied on me for their investigations, even after they tried to send me back to my world. I didn't expect them to allow me to help with police matters after everything that happened. Now that the possibility of sending me back was eliminated, the advantages of having me on their side apparently outweighed the risks. Though I had to wonder who would have to be careful from now on. Police archives. I have a feeling that portal shit's gonna be more important. Oh yeah. I'm definitely not having any more of that cider. I was on my way to the police station when a voice called out to me. Hey you! I'm talking to you, human! Oh, Grandpa Dragon. Drampa, if you will. Can I help you?
I certainly hope so. I'm in a little conundrum here. My cart seems to be stuck.
I can see that.
I'm Katsuharu, by the way. Local ice cream vendor.
Salsa, you've probably heard of me by now.
Of course, of course. In any case, do you think you could spare some time to help me out? Might take a while, though. I hope you're not in a rush. It's police matters. It's gonna take up the time slot, isn't it? I don't actually know. It's an old man in his ice cream cart. But I'll take it up as a lead. I'll help you. Thank you. Now, I already tried just pulling it out, but I think the axle is gonna break if I try to do that again. It wasn't really in the best condition to begin with, and honestly, I heard a crack when I tried to pull it out earlier. So what do you want me to do? The cart is pretty heavy, so I'll be the one lifting it and holding the wheel steady so the axle doesn't break. Once I give you the sign, you start pulling, and hopefully that'll do the trick. Alright. Grab the handles and wait for my signal. By the time I'd gotten into position, Katsuharu was already on the other side of the cart, getting dirty as he slowly lifted the affected corner of the cart out of the muddy hole. Is that your sign? Should I start pulling now? Do it now! I started pulling, but the cart turned out to be much heavier than I expected, and didn't move. What are you waiting for? Do it already! I pulled harder, but the cart still refused to budge. I mustered all my strength before I pulled as hard as I possibly could. Yes, do it! Slowly the cart started moving, and after a few seconds it was freed from the perilous clutches of the muddy puddle. With a dull thud, the dragon set the cart down again before he flopped on the ground exhausted. Hey, we did it. Yeah, good job. Do you want me to call you some help? No, just need some rest. And maybe some ice cream. Yes, I'll have some ice cream, and I'll be better in no time. That must be some pretty good ice cream. Oh, you have no idea. You must have already heard people talking about my wonderful, unique ice cream experience. Actually, not really. Where are my manners? I haven't even properly thanked you yet. It's no problem. No, I insist. I won't be indebted to you for helping me. What are you planning? You are hereby invited to join me for ice cream. As an ambassador, you owe it to yourself and humanity to try it. Maybe I do. Well, I must get going for now. Here's my number. I'll get you that ice cream some other time. Thanks. You helped Katsuharu. Altruism. Before I was on my way to the preliminary. Before deciding my next move, I returned to my apartment for a moment of rest. A small piece of paper had slipped under my door while it was gone. Don't go to the portal, was all it said. I considered the possibility of a hidden message, but that was unlikely. The statement was blunt and quickly scrawled. Someone clearly didn't want me to go to the portal, but why would I go there in the first place? It was as out of order right now. Such an action would serve no purpose. Looked outside of the window as the portal's faint silhouette in the distance. The paper rustled between my fingers as I fidgeted with it, wondering about the message's sender and significance. My train of thought was violently interrupted by a sharp burst of gunfire, echoing from the portal. I had to think fast. The gunshots ensured Fraser's involvement. He was at the portal. The question was why. If this was an attempt to flee back to the human world, he would receive a rather unpleasant surprise the moment he would try to use the portal. Or maybe Sebastian's theory was correct, and Reza held the part needed to repair the portal, in which case his escape could be imminent. The gunshots themselves were another question. Was someone trying to stop him? The police patrol may have seen him, and he may have taken by surprise. This could be another murder in progress. But all of his murders were committed with a sharp weapon before now, not a gun. He didn't want to be heard. Besides, it was only early evening, and the town was still bustling. If Reza wanted to stay hidden, he was doing a rather poor job at it. Of course, there was also the possibility that he wanted to be heard. But who would he want to attract? The police? Maverick? It could easily be a trap for those hunting him, and that technically included me, though I wasn't sure if he knew of my involvement in the investigation. It was a very real possibility that he knew my apartment was close enough for the portal to hear a gunshot. Could it be a signal for me? Regardless, the words I held in my hands were unmistakable. Don't go to the portal. What should I do? Go to the portal! The path I took was a familiar one by now. Even with night falling, it was easy for me to find my way around. Long, grotesque shadows stood before me, and the atmosphere was eerie and dangerous. I couldn't tell if it was because of everything of the evening's shroud of darkness, or if the urgent situation tugging at my mind had twisted my perception. I made it past the village border and pressed on. There was still a fair distance to go. Suddenly, gloved hands grabbed me from behind, clamping over my mouth. I couldn't make a sound. From what I could see, it was the same hooded figure I'd met in the maintenance room after the second murder. It's too late. Maverick arrived before you did, and to make sure that no one uses the portal today. Don't follow me. I was shoved to the ground, and before I could regain my composure, the figure vanished into the darkness. If Maverick was still in the area, it was not a good idea to stay here. I wouldn't want to fuel his suspicions or worse. I figured it was time to go back to the police department anyway. You tried to go to the portal. Dang. Hey, while I'm here, those archives. Jesus. What am I? I'm getting pinged. Oh. Oh. Ooh. I'm getting pinged about things. There you are, Salsa. It seems to me you've taken a liking to Bryce's chair. Maybe. I could get used to this. Don't tell Bryce so. By the way, we have evidence that Reza visited the portal today. Someone reported loud bangs consistent with what we know about his weapon. We didn't manage to catch him, but I wonder if this stunt means he's getting desperate. Who knows? Now, let's take a look at what you've got for me. Nothing. Because I helped an old dragon and got paranoid about gunshots. This isn't much information to go on, but who knows when it could come in handy. I do what I can. I know, and your help is greatly appreciated, believe me. Especially since we're so short on staff right now. Cool. It's almost like I didn't do any work and I'm still being congratulated. That'll be all for today. I'll contact you if we need anything. Of course. See you next time. See you. Ugh. Finally, a free day. You know what? I'm gonna meet with Katsuharu. Old ice cream dragon. Why not? I'll take him up on his offer for ice cream. There you are. Wasn't sure if I was going to find you from the description you gave me. Well, this corner is where I do business. You could have asked anyone and they would have told you where to find me. I see. Now, what would you like for your ice cream? What do you have to offer? What I have to offer? As for the main dish, I have ice cream, gelato, frozen yogurt, frozen custard, soft serve, sorbet, sandwiches, popsicles, Malarine, sherbet, cold taffy, snow cones, and halo halo. Halo what? I'm sorry, I have to look up one of those. Halu halo. Crushed ice, evaporated milk or coconut milk, and various ingredients. Ah! Interesting. Filipino ice cream. Alright. For sides, I can offer you waffles, sticks, pretzels, cups, wafer cones, cake cones, sugar cones, chocolate-coated cones, double cones, or vanilla cones. That's a lot of variety you have there. And I haven't even started on about the toppings. Now you know why I have to keep dragging this big cart everywhere.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, but we're closed.
You don't look closed.
But we are.
I really want to buy an ice cream, though. Please? It's really hot. I'll pay you twice as much.
Sorry, we are closed.
Can you at least tell me when you're going to be open?
When I feel like it. Now off you go.
But
Katsuharu waved a claw dismissively. You just do that to the fucking local town chief of police? Holy shit! This fucking old dragon has a pair of heavy swingers. Off you go.
Whatever. I'll just go jump into a lake or something.
Bryce probably isn't joking. Why did you come here when you closed? This is just my spot. Has been for a long time. I'll open for those pesky customers later, but right now I have a guest to entertain. I see. How long have you been doing this? I've been in this business for over 40 years now. Oh, wow. You see, I'm this town's only real ice cream vendor. Sure, you could just go into a store and buy any pre-made ice cream nowadays, but it's just not the same. My customers know that. They love my ice cream. Of course, I don't just sell it. I also do ice cream parties and catering. Ice cream parties? Only for very special occasions. The townsfolk must really like your ice cream then. Oh yes, business has been wonderful for decades. Lately though, everything just seems to be going down. Why's that? Every day, less customers find their way to me. If I don't sell everything, things start to spoil and I have to throw them away. I never had to do that before. If it keeps going like this for much longer, I might have to face the reality of bankruptcy. I was planning to retire in a few years, but I can't. Not like this. Wouldn't be nearly as bad if I hadn't also lost all my savings recently. Oh no, what happened? Well, I happen to be an avid player of a game called Mahjong, and just as it so happens, sometimes people play it for money too. You lost all your life savings by gambling? That's the funny thing about gambling. Sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you win big and sometimes you lose all your savings. That's just how it goes. I see. How did you decide to become an ice cream vendor anyway? I have quite a history, human, so I hope you're prepared. I was born at a very young age. Well, I'm an ambassador, so if you have a story to tell, I'll listen. As you wish. Oh my god, I really am gonna get full old dragon backstory. It's great. I have many very fond memories of my childhood. When I was little, we had a confectioner in town who offered all kinds of specialties, from cookies and sweets to cakes and chocolates. The owner was a kind old dragoness who made everything that was sold in her shop with her two claws. Her confectionery was always very good, but it was her ice cream that was truly exceptional. Even as a small child, I could always taste the difference, even when my peers didn't care and proclaimed one ice cream as good as the next. As I grew up, I came to a fundamental understanding about people. There are those who are content with the lowest common denominator, and those, like me, who could appreciate the finer details and expertly crafted things. I talked with her when I heard her plans to retire, and to see if someone else was to continue running the shop or if she had taken in an apprentice. But to my utter dismay, I learned this was not the case. You see, she was the kind of humble person who didn't think of herself or her wares as special in any way, so she never felt the need to preserve them. I realized that without my intervention, her art would be lost forever. I begged and pleaded with her not to let this happen, but she insisted that I had vastly overestimated her skill. It was not until I ran out and bought some of the store-bought pulp they dared to call ice cream that she gave in and agreed with me. As a creator, she, of course, had never felt the need to buy some for herself when she could just make her own, and only after only eating her own wonderful ice cream for all these years, it had just become ordinary for her. She had never realized how exceptional it truly was. Even though she was already retirement age at the time, she took me in as an apprentice to teach me the fine art of confectionery. I was a student for a few years and learned the basics of many different recipes, but unfortunately, she passed away before I could learn the secrets to a particular blend of ice cream. For the next couple of years, I traveled city to city, trying to find her relatives or confectioners of a similar caliber in order to find the last ingredients of a recipe. Going from one disappointment to the next, I finally tracked down a distant nephew who remembered her from his own childhood. Even back then, her ice cream had apparently been very popular in the family. I was very happy to hear that she was able to fulfill her dream of owning her confectionery. However, after he told me that the recipe was the confectioner's own, and that she had never divulged it to anyone else, I had realized that this was a secret she had apparently taken with her to the grave. Nowadays, people tell me that I have surpassed her. What they don't know is that all the different recipes I use, all the varieties I offer, came to be when I tried to recreate her recipe. I never succeeded. Sea salt. That's the secret to the ice cream. It's sea salt. Just look at the number of different ice creams I sell. People tell me how impressive that is and how they are all wonderful. They think it makes me better than her, but she only ever sold a single flavor, a single variety. She never needed anything else because that one flavor was perfect. I can only ascribe my own success to what I learned from her. Of course, this corner's not the only place where I sell the ice cream. I also have my spots in the surrounding villages, but even out there I can slowly see the influence of the cities taking over. The trouble is, nowadays people just don't appreciate the art anymore. They only care for that they can eat, and not about what they eat. They're too quick to settle for what they can get from the local supermarkets. Ugly, mass-manufactured pulp. Gah. You know, some of those companies have approached me before. They wanted to buy my recipes, but I won't let them ruin what I have by making it cheap and easy to produce like the stuff they sell. My ice cream is only what it is because I still make it myself with my own 2 hands. This is the way it has been, and how it's always going to be. You mentioned you were planning to retire in a few years. What's going to happen then? Do you have any students who will take over the business afterwards? The dragon gave a big sigh. I wish. I've had a few students who wanted to learn the art, but they all gave up sooner or later. Why's that? I may be very forgiving, but the recipes aren't. Some steps require manual labor, and people don't expect the harsh conditions that come with the job. Many apply only because they know how successful I am, or how much I sell on a hot day, but they don't see all the work that goes on behind the scenes. I see the same influence of the cities corrupting the youth of today. They're lazy and seek instant gratification, wanting to make the recipes easier and cut corners. But I won't stand to compromise on quality. Oh my god. Guys, Boomer Dragon. He's literally saying kids these days don't appreciate. If there's one willing to learn, appreciate, and preserve the art, it will tell me there is no desire for my... If there is no one willing to learn, appreciate, and preserve the art, it will tell me there is no desire for my ice cream in this world anymore. Let them have their cheap stuff if that's all they want. I'd rather take my recipes to the grave than let the big companies have them. I have a grandson who may be my last hope. Unlike others, he was always interested not only in eating my ice cream, but also in learning what it took to make it. In a year or 2, he will be old enough to become my apprentice if he so desires. I'm not sure if his interest will still be present. Even if it is, I don't know if he will be able to brave the hardships that come with it. But I have hope. However, that's all. Let's talk for the future. I have much more pressing problems right now. Like what? You see, this area used to be the popular spot for people to meet each other, but ever since Tatsu Park opened, it's not worth it to come to my corner anymore. The store is closer now. Maybe you shouldn't count on the people seeking you out. You should try coming to the people instead. That's like the cart's usually for, right? Have you tried moving it somewhere else? Moving? Well, that's what the wheels are for, right? But this has been my spot for the last 40 years. It's always worked out great for me. Back in my day, I could sit on the same corner and sell ice cream all day, and now Tatsu Park and none of the kids deserve any of my confectionaries because I... Considering it's not working out so great right now, maybe it's time for a change. The dragon raised a claw to his chin, his expression telling me that he was deep in thought. Move your mobile fucking ice cream cart, you goddamn boomer. I guess I don't really have anything to lose at this point. What do you propose? Set up in Tatsu Park. I'm not sure how I let you convince me to come here when this is the place that stole all my customers from me. I don't think that's the right way to look at it. The world is ever changing, and you can't stop that. You have to find ways to deal with it, or else you'll be left behind in the past. Evolve or die, boomer! It's too easy to just blame the change and be done with it. You shouldn't really be so quick to give up, you know. But all my customers know that the other corner is my spot. How are they going to find me here? I think the people who will buy some ice cream will spread the word. You think so? It's summer. I'm sure there are tons of people around who'd like to buy an ice cream right now. Well, if you think you can sell ice cream better than me, then please go right ahead. Oh my god. Boomer's like, if you think this job is so easy, then you do it. What do you usually do? What do you mean? What's your usual sales tactic? I don't need to do anything special. People always used to come to me. During my best times, they'd wait for my arrival in lines and I'd be sold out in minutes. That may have worked before, but these times call for different measures, I think. We set up the cart at one of the busier corners. Once it was ready, we only needed to get the word out. Ice cream! Ice cream! Ice cream by the one and only Katsuharu here in Tatsu Park. Get some while supplies last. Didn't take much to take the
It didn't take much to make the people in the vicinity take notice. The first customers arrived quickly. Of course, everyone recognized Katsuharu and loved his ice cream, but they also commended him on his new location. Others, however, were attracted by me. The human that was generally under police protection, openly selling ice cream, gave people plenty of excuses to come over for a short chat. Soon, people were flocking to the cart as word got around of the human selling Katsuharu's legendary ice cream in Tatsu Park.
Can I get one of those, please?
Of course, one ice cream for my favorite art student.
How did you know?
I've seen you around. Besides, your accessories kinda give it away. Oh yeah, you can totally see the art accessories actually. Like that's 2 sketches and brushes and
Oh, okay.
I need some ice. My colleagues are dehydrated from working in the heat. How many cups would you like? Let's make it 10. Alright, here you go. 10 cups plus 1 extra. Just for you. Thank you. I'll make it count. Business was booming, but it wasn't until a certain person showed up that things were about to get serious.
Well, this is interesting.
Minister.
What do you think you're doing here?
Well, what does it look like?
It looks like you're selling ice cream. And since I personally know Katsuharu, I know that it's exquisite ice cream at that.
Not a bad guess.
I don't want to tell you what to do, but if the trade commissioner finds out about this, I won't hear the end of it. He'll probably be blathering about unfair competition and abuse of your status. I wouldn't mind his complaints, you know, but since I am in charge of your visit, it's all going to come back to me, and he's going to want an explanation.
I just wanted to help Katsuharu, that's all.
Help him? Is he in trouble?
Alas, the human speaks the truth. Ever since the opening of Tatsu Park, my business has been plagued by drought and become forsaken like a desert.
Well, it's not hard to see why when you kept staying at your old spot on the other side of town.
It was Salsa's idea to come here.
And it was a good one. You don't look like you're having much trouble here at all, my friend.
Yes, I will have to admit defeat on that front, but in hindsight, all successful ideas look like good ones.
My friend, how come you never told me about any of this? I could have arranged something for you.
I was sure you had more troubling issues yourself than taking care of a businessman who should be able to take care of himself.
Well, I won't stand for this town's only ice cream vendor going out of business. With this new location, I don't think you'll have any more trouble, but in order to resolve this little situation here right now, I think I'll have to go with a different solution. You want to sell some ice cream, Salsa? Then I'll just have to buy the rest of your inventory.
Minister must be very hungry then, or very hot. Maybe both.
I'm sure the other employees in my building will appreciate a little something to combat the heat. Would you mind if I borrowed this cart for a while? Otherwise, I'm not sure how I would go about transporting all safely.
Not at all. Just let me know when I can retrieve it.
Of course.
Holy fuck. Well, that was interesting. This could have hardly turned out better for me. I can already feel the excitement of my glory days returning to these old bones of mine. Sounded like you two knew each other. Indeed, I've served her ice cream since the beginning of my career. Talk about a long-time customer. And a good one, too. I know she not only has enjoyed my ice cream out of tradition or necessity, but also due to an appreciation of the finer arts. She is a connoisseur, like me. And she bought the whole inventory. Yes, but I don't just see her as a big spender. She is a true patron of the arts. Do you like her? How dare you say something about that like her? Like that about her? She's a muse and inspiration. Her lifestyle embodies the philosophy of my art. And you ask if I like her? Ha! I see how it is. Anyway, I guess I should be thanking you for the help. Again! There's no need for that. I'd offer you some more ice cream, but I'm afraid we're all out for the day. Actually, I didn't even have one earlier. What? Yeah, that customer you didn't want to serve interrupted us, and now Emera took the rest with her. Oh, you're right. What a great shame. You sold all my stock, yet didn't get a chance to indulge in the luxury yourself. I guide others to a treasure I can never possess. It's no big deal.
You know, you could come by next time when I'm in town again. Now that you've saved my business, I'd let you eat all the ice cream you want. Thanks. Well, maybe not all of it, or else I might go bankrupt again. You met with Katsuharu. Some free time. Dang. Let's go meet up with Bryce. You know, casual. Bryce is still in the police department. I thought it was... Never mind. This is probably like expecting you to come in on a earlier chapter. Once again, I found myself within the police department, which seemed oddly quiet for this time of day. It didn't take me long to spot Bryce in his office.
Hey, Salsa, what's up?
Nothing much, but you told me to contact you if I could remember anything that might help with the investigation.
That's right. What do you have for me?
Not sure if it's worth mentioning, but I have known Reza for a couple of years, so I know some things about him personally. His personality.
That's actually more helpful than you might think. Mannerisms, habits, all kinds of things would be useful to add to his profile, and to get a better idea of him. You know, I'm just about done here for the day, but if you want to discuss it over a beer or something, I'd be more than happy.
Dragon's drink? I'll take 3!
We'll see about that. Let's go.
Ah, yes. Cafe Memoria. Cafe Memories.
Here we are. And just in time for happy hour.
Do you come here often?
Sometimes.
Hey, you two. What can I get you?
Just the usual.
1 generic beer for the chief of police. Sure thing. How about you, Salsa? I'll have a generic beer. Noted. I'll be right back. Wasn't long before the raider returned with a drinking bowl as wide as it was tall, filled to the brim with a foam-topped, dark amber liquid. Carefully, he set it down in front of Bryce, who didn't hesitate to take a big gulp. He brought one for me as well, provided in a glass that seemed more appropriate for my kind. There you go. Just call me if you need anything.
Of course. So, what is it you wanted to tell me about Reza?
There are a few things. I mean, they're probably not much, but anything might help, right?
That's right. Anything unusual about him, anything that defines his character or stands out about him could help us. How about you tell me what you know about him?
Well, the earliest memory I have of him was when we both went to the same school. We only shared a few classes, though, and a couple of friends. Overall, I'd say he was an above-average student. We didn't talk very often, but he was always very outspoken and never failed to speak up to make his opinions known. He was the kind of person I fully expect to become a politician one day, or at least an activist of some sort. That's the impression I got from him. He spoke a lot, but you could always expect him to act on his word. Of course, his nature caused him to clash with others, sometimes even including the school staff, though his genuine enthusiasm also garnered praise from them. He was quite a character. After we all graduated, I didn't hear anything about him for a long time. Only some years later, after we found the portal, was I surprised to find out he was the human who would be sent to your world. He'd volunteered. It wasn't until I was already here that I actually met him again, however brief our interactions were. But then I already told you everything about what had happened prior to the eventual scuffle with Maverick. There's only one thing that stands out to me about those events. In the restaurant, when he told me about the letter, he mentioned I would know how to read its secret message. I know he values the use of his own intellect, but when I received the letter later, he apparently fully expected me to remember a random chemistry class we had together years ago in order to see the message.
I see. So you did not arrange this beforehand?
Not at all. I had no idea.
That is quite peculiar.
I know. I still wonder what he would have told me if Maverick hadn't interfered when we met at the portal.
We do as well, and you can believe that.
How was Maverick even allowed to intercept his letter and read it?
He could have easily done so since he was in charge of raising everything, but he totally shouldn't have. I mean, we wouldn't do anything of sort with you. Everything is done in regards to Reza has been a poor show of character.
I suppose so.
In any case, thank you for telling me all this. You never know when this kind of information could be useful.
No problem. Just when I thought an awkward silence might set in, Bryce spotted the waiter and didn't hesitate to speak up.
Hey waiter, bring me another.
I hadn't noticed, but while he was talking, Bryce had been busy sipping on his drink. The empty bowl before him was proof of his proficiency, while I barely touched my own drink.
You were talking the whole time. Your mouth was busy.
Here you go.
Am I about to have a fucking drunk dragon that I have to guide home?
Bryce was just about to start in a second when he suddenly spoke up.
You know what? Why don't we have ourselves a drinking contest?
I'm about to have a drunk dragon that I guide home.
You know what? I'm in. That's what I like to hear.
Considering they don't even have cars,
At least I won't have to worry about drinking and driving.
The rules are simple. We both get around, then we wait a few months until the next one so the effects can kick in. Whoever gives up first loses.
Let's burn some brain cells.
And may whoever burns more win. This is the true game of kings, I'm telling you. Alright, let's do this.
He made a show of looking me in the eyes while he lowered his muzzle into the bowl before he started guzzling his drink noisily. It was gone in seconds. Certainly, this was going to be tough. My confidence faltered, but there was no turning back now. How did I think I could win in a drinking contest against a frickin' dragon? Here's how I imagine Bryce drinking his beverage. There's a video that took the that made the rounds recently. There was a snake drinking a whole glass of water, like literally submerging its entire head and like part of its body, neck. It's a snake. I don't know. Submerging its entire head, eyeballs and all, and like part of its body in the glass of water, and then you just see very slowly the snake take gulp, 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 and the water level starts lowering. I imagine that with Bryce, where he's just like submerging his muzzle in the drink and just slurp. Nevertheless, I grasped my drink, putting on the best show I could while I tried to recreate Bryce's feat. After the first sip, however, I realized it was very different from any other beer I'd tried before. Yet I persevered through the intense taste until the glass was empty. Oh, fuck's sake! They're having me drink IPA? Fuck that shit! It probably wasn't as impressive as Bryce had been just moments earlier, but I couldn't afford to show any weakness. My plan was cut short, though, as I set down the glass and the usually strong aftertaste hit me, causing me to make a face.
How'd you like it?
This is some really strong stuff.
I told you. You better know beforehand how much you can take, or it'll hit you harder later on. Want to give up already?
Shut up.
That brought out your fighting spirit, huh? I like that.
I will not let an IPA kick my ass, let alone a dragon drinking IPA.
So when's the next round starting?
Soon enough. Do you feel it? Do you feel the buzz kicking in already? Don't lie to me. I can see it in your face. Unless that's blushing I see and not the alcohol.
Alright, it's a buzz.
That's what I thought. Anyways, how do you like it here so far? I mean, compared to wherever it is that you came from.
I'm having a drinking contest with a dragon. How could I not love this?
We'll see how much you like it when I've drunk you under the table. Waiter, bring us another round.
Coming right up. Having ourselves a little contest, are we?
You know how it goes.
That I do. Be careful, Salsa. He's a pro. Did I hear something about a contest?
Maybe.
Up to your old shenanigans, I see.
Nah, don't spoil the fun. I don't go around telling people what you're up to either.
Point taken. Enjoy.
Bye, Zith. I guess that's the first and last time I've seen you. Well, probably not the last. I don't fucking know. Of course, he wouldn't have challenged me if he wasn't confident he would win. I guess I'll just have to try my best.
I won first last time, so it's your turn now.
As I put the glass to my lips and started swallowing the dark amber liquid,
was struck by how much more difficult this round was compared to the first. One thing that always puzzled me about seasoned drinkers was the sheer amount of liquid they could ingest without issue. Keeping it down, however, was a much different question. This contest wasn't about keeping it down. There, your turn.
Did I see you struggling there for a second?
That's my tactic, make you think that I'm struggling so you'll let your guard down.
Roaring laughter erupted from the dragon as his paw struck the table, rattling the containers resting on it. Keep it up, kiddo. You still stand a chance if you can make me die of laughter. As for my turn, let me demonstrate.
Once again, he consumed his drink, though his swigs were noticeably slower than before. His resolve was also fading, though not as fast as mine had, as he clearly held the advantage. Was there any way I could still turn this around? He's one deeper than you. Let it hit him.
There. Now, let me ask you a question. I know you wanted to tell me all about all this stuff about Reza. Was that the only reason you wanted to meet with me?
Oh. I can kind of see, like, the screen shaking a little bit. Having a little fun doesn't hurt, right?
Thought so. I won't disagree with that.
That's a cool wink pose. That's a cool wink pose.
Waiter, next round.
Coming. There you go.
Thanks.
How you holding up? Just fine, thanks for asking. If you say so, good luck.
Good luck, says the fucking waiter. Was it your turn, or is it my turn?
It's yours.
Alright.
By now it was obvious that Bryce was faltering, though he was faring much better than I was. He even had to take a drink. He even had to take a break in the middle of his beer, unable to down it in one go.
Now, it's yours.
It was a lot heavier than me, and even though his bowls held far more liquid than my glasses. How did I think I'd stand a chance against him? When I picked up my glass, I didn't have feeling in my fingers anymore. I had to pause a few times, but in the end I made it, though I wasn't sure how much more I could take. So what do we do now?
Wait for you to throw up so I win.
You never said that was a rule.
Well, duh. Of course it doesn't count if you spit your drink halfway through. And I suppose it still might if you lick it all up again.
Ah, the background is going full. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Why are you so damn attractive?
I just am.
Got nothing more to say about that.
Waiter, next round.
There you are. Is he not even gonna say something about cutting us off? Blearily, the dragon looked at me, seemingly unable to focus. I could see he was hitting his limit, but so was I. Maybe if I just held out a little longer.
Whose turn is it even?
I think it's yours.
I think it's yours, though.
Very well. At this point, I had difficulties picking up my glass. I was about to give up, but I was sure if I held on just one more round, it'd be over. I could still win this. I had to wait a few moments after each sip in order to continue, but I did not give up until eventually the glass was empty. Suck on this, you scaly bastard. For the first time, I could see something in his eyes other than his always present confidence. Was it disbelief or insecurity? I guessed my feet caught him off guard, as he seemed genuinely impressed. If nothing else, this showed me that even his own conviction was cracking now. I could totally win this.
You're cute. I like you. I really do. But I sure as heck am not gonna let you win.
He was struggling. It became more and more obvious as he tried to swallow the liquid in his bowl bit by bit. He stopped at one point, panting heavily. I considered taking a cheap shot at him, but as he had refrained from doing so during my turn, I wasn't gonna start now.
There.
I was getting tired. I could hear Bryce's voice, but I could not make out the individual words anymore. I decided to rest my eyes just for a little bit.
Shit, man. Hey, are you okay? You fell down and you look kind of messed up. If you think I'm giving up, you're mistaken. This isn't over. I can see that. Ready for another round, or do you give up? Bring it on. Actually, you know, once you're lying on the ground, you better stop. Does that mean I win? I didn't say that.
You know, it was fun watching you and all, but I think you've both had enough for the evening. I think you better leave now, after you've come out from under the table, that is. I'll be going then. Wait a minute.
What is it?
Maybe you should go with him, just to make sure he gets home safely and doesn't do anything stupid, you know? It's kind of an unspoken rule here that whoever his drinking buddy does so. When I looked over at him, I discovered that Bryce had passed out for the moment. This could prove difficult. Alright. Thank you.
Come on, let's get you home.
He's still unconscious.
Put some pepper on his nose.
It'll be like a smelling salt. No, it'll make him sneeze. That was actually the salt, not the pepper. Let's try that again.
Is that you, Salsa? Or am I? And what did you do to my nose? Did you sew something in there while I was out or something?
We're still in the bar.
We're still in the bar. I just put some pepper there to wake you up. That's the best you could come up with? I'm drunk. What do you expect? Oh, shut up. Come on, let's get you home, you big wuss.
I'm method acting here. Oh, damn. He's, Damn. I awoke looking at an unfamiliar ceiling. For a moment, I wondered where I was before the events of last night all came back to me. As I got up and looked around, I realized that I apparently slept on the floor. Where am I? This isn't my apartment. He's drooling at the pillow! Guess I must have passed out after I got Bryce home. Hey, Bryce. Morning, sunshine. The dragon moved and let out a groan before he opened his eyes.
Damn, my head. Why are you even here?
Guess I must have passed out after I escorted you home.
Oh, right, after our little game.
Do you even remember who won?
I don't even know, but you stood your ground and I respect that.
For those of you keeping track at home, I think Bryce technically won since he had one down on us, but considering the waiter cut us off, we'll call it a tie.
You didn't do anything funny while I was out, did you?
The dragon rose from the couch with a nice morning stretch, rubbed his eyes, and then held his head high as he let out a grunt and a big yawn.
Alright, you know what? I'm sorry. The whole contest thing was a stupid idea, and I shouldn't have suggested it, especially not to you.
It's not like you forced me to participate, so I suppose I share some of the blame.
Let's just pretend the whole thing never happened.
Deal.
Wait, what time is it? Damn. I should really get going or I'll be late for work. You know how to get back to your apartment from here, right?
I think so?
Guess you should be going as well, kiddo. Maybe I'll see you some other time.
Loss and passion and superstition. Okay. Jesus Christ, not again! Did I literally spend a day doing nothing after Bryce? Alright, cool. We're gonna override our save there. I am going to call it quits for the night. Good 2-ish hours of Dragon Smoochin' Sim, but I personally think that we might be close to an ending. I don't know if it's a good ending, but it's an ending. It's getting a lot more intense in the opening scenes. So I'm gonna call it quits here for tonight. For everybody who came for Sonic Kart Night, I'm sorry that you had to sit through Dragon Smooching Sim. For everyone that came here for Dragon Smooching Sim, I'm sorry you had to sit through Sonic Kart Night. For everyone that came from Aber's Raid, I'm Salsa. Please follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Very good places to know when I go live. I'm gonna announce it here. Return to main menu. Unsaved progress. Oh, Katsuharu. Katsuharu showed up on the opening screen. Anyway, short little announcement here, but I'm going to be doing Trainers Unite next week. So I will be playing Pokemon Channel for charity. If you're interested, that's going to happen Monday, my usual stream time. I'm going to try and be more punctual about it Monday because it's a charity thing. But yeah, I'm going to be doing Pokemon Channel for Pokeathon Trainers Unite, supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, fighting childhood cancers. And I just rattled all that off without any sort of prompt. So yeah. The rest of next week is a fucking hot mess, as it were. I will not be able to stream until Friday. If then, it's interesting. 9 hours till the Artemis 1 launch. Can be watched on the NASA channel. I'm probably still gonna be asleep in 9 hours. So, yeah. Also, I'm not the biggest space guy, but hey. For everyone, thank you so much for coming out. If you like what you've seen here, yeah, follow me. I got Twitch, I got Twitter, I got Discord. I have also got a YouTube where I'm going to throw the VODs and the VOD segments. I split the double features up on YouTube, so if you're watching through this in the Angels and Scaly Wings playlist, hi! I streamed Sonic Kart earlier. But, yeah. Let's see, is there anybody who's live that I can raid? Actually, no, that's YouTube. Oh yeah, I'll also be streaming tomorrow. Damn, I forgot about streaming tomorrow. It's just gonna be, is just gonna be Super Mario Galaxy, so it's not like anything big deal. Let's actually go raid Metroid Marathon. They're currently playing Metroid Fusion, supposedly? From one charity marathon to another. Actually, no. Actually, yes. Aber was doing charity adjacent stuff during the Sonic Kart segment, so from one charity marathon to another, go have fun with Metroid Marathon. Actually looks like they just finished Fusion. I don't know what their schedule is, so yeah. I will see you tomorrow for Galaxy, and then Monday for the Monday for charity stuff. Bye-bye. Bye-bye!